Useful details, of course, is to highlight the plight of poor people, a lot of stuff that has to be done. And in fact, for me, the second part of his speech where he was addressing the masses, the ultimate vanguards of the democratic revolution.
We'll get to that now, but I did get a sense, though, that he was calling the nation to come together, because he kept on saying, together we can move South Africa forward. That seemed to be a bit of a mantra that came through. Is it the moment that we set our differences aside and hear the president and say, look, if we get together, we can make a difference as a collective?
Well, yes, that has been the theme. That has been the ANC theme for the elections. And the ANC, that's the defining element about the ANC, unifying the nation. And it might not get enough kudos, but it's very important to continue emphasizing that point. And if you see at the crowd there, most of them are black, and yet we claim to be a rainbow nation. So the theme was quite important for him to say, and of course remind us of our founding father who passed away recently, Nelson Mandela, and that we owe a debt to icons like this to continue on the path.
All right, and he also, as we speculated earlier, that he did mention the continent, and he mentioned again that the commitment that South Africa has towards democracy, human rights, and so on and so forth, right across the continent. So that was expected, and it came through? That
was expected. There's no surprise there. South Africa still has to do more. The AU is a very useful instrument. We didn't do well when we were contesting for the AU position. A lot of enemies were made and there was a lot of tension. I think Zuma has acquitted herself quite well to restore relationships that were broken as a result of that. So we need to strengthen our institutions and ensure that Africa does realize her promise.
Then he did move outside onto the lawns to speak to the masses, if I can choose that as a word to describe, the people on the ground. He had a slightly different message for them, but again, he started by thanking everyone for showing confidence again in his government.
Yes, he was a lot more relaxed, a lot more, his true self came out. And of course, these are, as I was saying earlier, these are the ultimate vanguards of our democratic revolution. They are there to claim the moment, and it's always nice when he goes there to acknowledge that. And he was a lot more frank. If you are not sure, if you have been lazy for the last 5 years in cabinet, rest assured that you are not coming back to cabinet now, because he said the task remains quite massive ahead of us. Recommitting the ANC to socio-economic transformation, and said it cannot be business as usual, but the punchline was that we don't need lazy people. If you have been lazy, not working, you are not coming back. We'll only choose hardworking people.
And he said that this is your government, and if we take radical steps, it is on your behalf.
Yes.
Is this a hint of what might be coming in the next 24 hours?
It is a hint. I mean, as we were discussing earlier, that the ANC has dropped by 8% in the last 2 elections. 62%. Whoever thought the ANC would drop down to 62%? No one. So things new things have to be introduced, especially because we have the EFF, who've demonstrated that there's a lot of disgruntlement there. These chaps got more than 1 million votes. They're fairly new, hardly 6 months old. So, something radical has got to be done, not only for the survival of the ANC, but to ensure that we remain a peaceful and stable republic.
Again, I kept getting the sense that there was gratitude and thanks for the voters, and he used words like, we will commit ourselves to you, serve with humility and with dedication right across the board in government, in local government. And I guess that this is really a kind of a new, perhaps not new, but an attitude that he really wants to get across.
Well, yeah, and at the same time, we shouldn't be carried away by the moment. Talk is talk. Politicians do that most of the time. And it is in what they do that we are able to see their true intentions. there's been a lot of issues, a lot of corruption, wrong things that have been done under the president's watch. So hopefully this time around the president means what he says. Of course, it's a good moment, emotive moment. We are glad that he said what he said. These are kind of things you say at these occasions. You can't say anything else. But the test comes in the implementation, in doing the things that he says he will do.
And they've been given 5 years to do that, and we'll certainly be watching. Dr. Mcebisi Ndletyana, Head of the Faculty of Political Economy at the Mapungubwe Institute for Strategic Reflection. Mr. Thank you very much indeed for your thoughts. Always a pleasure having you.